Here's how I used my GI Bill as effectively as I could. I went to a community college and I didn't use my GI Bill at that time. I did the general education requirements and I paid for it. I worked and I applied for scholarships. It made it to where I was using my funds on the cheapest thing that I could. And then I transferred to a university and started using the GI Bill. It paid for housing, paid for tuition and fees and books. And at that point, when I was using it, I also was applying for scholarships because you still want to apply for those. I got some, and because things were paid for, it put more money into our pocket that we could use later on. And then during the summer, I went and interned at a company. That was a great way to get my foot in the door. And then I finished out my bachelor's there and then went to work at that company. And they ended up suggesting that I go and get a master's. And I still had time left on my GI Bill. That was why we had delayed it. And it made it to where when I went and looked at my options, I had public university or private universities. I picked UCLA because the GI Bill covers all of the public university tuition, and it made it to where I used the remaining GI Bill on my master's program. I actually have some time left, which I can now use for certifications and qualifying education, but I finished it out and I still have some left. And my suggestion would be delay it and use your money for the cheap education and use the GI Bill for the more expensive one and choose the right school. If I went to UCLA or if I went to USC, it would have been $60,000 more. But that's what I did, and I hope you figure out what works for you. I'll see you tomorrow.